Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. Asterisk, my name is David, and I live in a small house on the edge of a dense forest on the outskirts of the city. Since moving here, I have always had an uneasy feeling, as if this forest is not simply a green space, but also contains something dark and elusive. During the day, it looks like any other forest, with birds chirping, light filtering through the leaves, and the occasional glimpse of a deer. But when night falls, everything changes completely. Darkness covers every treetop, and the wind whistles through the dry branches, creating an eerie sound like hundreds of whispers surrounding me. The people in the area often warn me to be careful, especially when it is dark. They tell many strange stories that have happened here. Some people hear footsteps following them, but when they turn around, there is no one. Some people claim to have heard the familiar voices of their loved ones coming from the woods, calling them by name, but when they ran after them, they only found a cold void. Gradually, this forest became an obsession, a taboo that few people dared to mention many times. At first, I did not believe those stories. I loved the quiet, so I thought those stories were just products of imagination or exaggerated fears. However, one night, while I was reading in my room, I suddenly heard a light knock on the window. At first, I thought it was just a branch being blown by the wind. But then, a voice rang out. That voice made my whole body shiver. It was my mother's voice. My mother called my name, gently, familiarly, like when I was a child. But there was one thing that almost made me faint. My mother was not there. She was working the night shift at the hospital in a town more than 10 kilometers from my house. I shivered, my hand unconsciously tightening round the book, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't dare go near the window, just sat there, motionless, trying to convince myself that I had misheard. But the voice rang out again, clear and certain, as if she was standing right outside the garden. I closed my eyes, trying to keep myself calm. But the more silent I was, the more I heard the murmuring sound in the wind. It wasn't just my mother's voice, but it seemed like there were other voices, mixed together, vague, as if many people were whispering something in the woods. The feeling at that moment was truly indescribable. I didn't know whether I should open the window to check, or keep quiet to avoid something terrible that might happen. The nightmare only lasted a few minutes, but to me, it felt like hours. When the voice disappeared, I rushed to check every corner. Around the house, of course, there was no one. There was only dense darkness and the sound of the wind howling through the trees. That night, I could barely sleep, my mind repeating the question: if it wasn't my mother, then what was calling my name with that voice? I knew. From that moment, my life would never be peaceful again. I had accidentally stepped into a terrifying mystery that the forest had been hiding for so long. And the worst thing was that I had a premonition that this was just the beginning of the horrors that awaited me. Stay tuned for the next episode to see what would happen when I decided to step into that dark forest.